recording.
All right.
Sorry, I'm always one.
Okay. Yeah. So let me tell you about Mr. William here. We joined about the same time. Very motivated gentleman, very kind, affable person, and really funny. So if he gives you a hard time, that's not a bad thing. And he has become just an incredibly successful realtor. And I'm really proud of him. So he'll poo that, but he's awesome.
Because I always think I could do better.
Right, I mean,
But that's-
he's awesome. So he's really busy right now, and so it's great.
But that's the journey of life, right?
Yeah.
Is to always evaluate where you're at, how you continue to improve, which is also the journey in real estate, is to always evaluate where you're at, and how you can improve, get better. So staff is busy doing something, so we get to take it over for the day. You have in the office, you may or may not know what we call ALC, Agent Leadership Council. So certain agents in the office who meet certain criteria get asked to be on the leadership committee. Basically, it's kind of like your guys' in between. You know, we're like your state representatives, but we actually listen. So, so you guys, problems, issues, questions, concerns. You know, of course, Victoria's there to help, Madison's there to help, Katie's there to help. But when there's other things that we just want to talk about or bring to somebody else, you know, that's where you guys kind of come to us. And then we meet once a month to discuss directions of the office, how's education going in the office, how's technology going in the office. Everybody leads up their own committee. Holly is education. She was safety last year, so I was almost at safety. Yeah, and then there's a safety committee. There's health committee that's supposed to be getting some health challenges together for the office coming up. Culture committee, which helps plans like the big things that we do, food drives, things that we give back. The Red Day was part of the culture committee, what we did to celebrate and to work at Red Day, things like that. I do tech, I'm on the tech committee. Basically, and you'll see every once in a while if something new comes out, we just kind of push it out, kind of like that. But with that, when Amy's not here, I can help answer some command questions or guide you to wait and go ask some things like that. With that in mind, we're going to start like we normally do. Let's get going with gratitude. What are you thankful for today, business related or not? It's a moment of gratitude.
Hey, William.
Yo.
Mark here. A successful knee replacement surgery.
Hey, Mark. And we are excited that was successful. And my gratitude is last night I was talking to Holly, and I think you guys are going to adopt me.
Nice.
Really, I'm really grateful for you and to be my new dad. So.
Well, I'm probably old enough to be your dad, William.
Anybody else?
I'm sorry.
Nick, you had something.
Yeah, I'm grateful that the requirements for special forces opened up to newer agents. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, and that's exciting. If you haven't heard yet, special forces, it's a 3-tier system basically now based on your production and how much you want to be challenged and held accountable going forward. So we are having this week is our getting ready meetings in the morning, just getting ready to get in the habit, and then next week officially starts day 1. So new agents, you have some goals and standards that we're going to be working up. Middle agents and top tier agents, there's different places you can come in, and your accountability groups will be focused all together that way. Thank you, Nick. Anybody else? Gina.
I'm thankful William's helping out with special forces.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
I don't want to sit. By the way, we sat in the back of the class and all this, and we were like the teacher's nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all have the opportunity now to
That's that funny.
revenge.
Is that funny? It is funny. It's a circle of life. Any other gratitudes?
I like the special forces is in session because there's more people in the office.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good positive energy that goes throughout the office. And I think, whether you realize it or not, people pick up on that. And I know I do, and it gets me going for the day. So I'm just happy that you're coming in.
And there's going to be for those days you can't make it in, there's still going to be a Zoom opportunity. So you can actually communicate and respond instead of just watching it and not being able to be a part of it. So if life happens, and we all realize that. Yes, there is an opportunity to foul out by not doing the work. However, we understand life happens, and then the agent, special forces group, get to decide if it's truly a foul out or if we let you stay in, which is kind of fun. We got a bunch of grace in our office, so yeah, we want you to succeed. Gratitudes, what the biggest change in my business get me kind of over those beginning humps was mindset. And so I started with gratitudes, and I still do every morning. Some days it might be repetitive from other days, but I wake up, and as I'm getting up out of bed, I just go over 5 things I'm grateful for. And that just sets your mindset for the day. I'm grateful I had this wonderful mattress for this great night's sleep. And sometimes you have to kind of, because I want to say, oh, I don't want to get up, the bed's so comfy. So just switch that to gratitude. I'm grateful for a comfy bed. Oh, I don't want to get up so early. Change it to, I'm grateful I can start my day right now. So why we do gratitudes here is because it's important with our mindset to always look for things to be thankful for, especially those things that we might not. Change your thinking to flip the coin over, look at it from the other side. My gas light came on. I'm like, great, I got get gas. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm thankful I have a car.
My guess like
Yeah.
came on.
I'm thankful I have a closing today so I can pay for gas now that the prices are checked.
I think too, William, that, our culture is come from contribution, and sometimes I was just talking to Chris and Connor, and sometimes maybe you don't want to do calls that day. Pick up the phone and call 10 people that you can tell them you're thankful for something. Hey, I was just thinking about you. I miss getting to have great conversations with you, whatever that is. Just have fun with it. And it does. I mean, it's a mindset that when you start thinking that way all the time, I drove my husband crazy. He calls me Mary Poppins because that's literally, I just be happy, and it will come full circle in a lot of different ways.
So, on that note, have y'all seen Ted Lasso? It's on Apple TV.
But the Jason today.
It looks fun.
It's awesome.
It is.
Yes.
Okay, we're binge watching because, Mark, there's things, we're at home a lot more. And so we've been binge watching it. I binge watched it with my sister. And then I was like, oh, Mark's got to see this. So
It's good.
it's a gentleman. Ted Lasso has one of those. I mean, he is all about the positive, the gratitude. It really lets you see it in action in really bad situations. so that might be a fun watch. So yeah.
Sorry, ADD, HD, whatever it's
Sorry.
called. Elmo goes here. What is Elmo? Why is it Elmo?
Oh, I don't know.
That's sorry, Rita.
Okay.
Oh, listings.
All right.
So new listings. We do have an
They have
agenda I'm trying to
listings.
follow. Jody.
Jody.
I got one up in Commerce City. It's a 3-bed with a loft, 3-bath. It'll be at 467 next week. And then one coming up in sorry, should have got my thoughts together better, in Parker in the Pinery. But we'll wait on that. Okay. But the Commerce City one is next week.
Anyone else have listings?
It's in Reunion too. Sorry, I should have said that. Their HOAs are like 129 a quarter, and they have the most beautiful community center. It's gorgeous. I don't know
Yeah,
if you've ever
it's like
been.
it's
It's
like
new.
old. Looks like foreign themes and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
It's really
Yeah,
neat
for
little
129 a quarter.
Wait, you said that one's in the, where at?
Commerce City. but
Oh,
it's
yeah,
Union.
yeah, I do events up there and it's so awesome.
Yeah, I know, I'm shocked at the rate prices.
Anybody else? Listings. Brittany, you signed the listing this week.
Yeah, it's not good, right?
What?
So,
That's okay. We're allowed to share it in our office now.
so, yeah, I've got one that's probably gonna go for like 490 in Lakewood. It's 4-bedroom, 2-bath, ranch, barn lot.
Nice.
What's the time frame on it?
I'll probably list it like August 11th.
Okay. So y'all know that you can sign listings like way ahead, right? That if there's, so just case in point, we've got clients that they're doing a new build. We're not gonna close on that house till like February, March of next year. We've already got their listing agreement signed. So because they basically, thank you, Lord, were able to qualify for their new loan on their new build and their existing home. So they can wait to move and then sell their existing. We'll just leave enough furniture for it to be staged and then they can sell it that way. And then there's a thing called recasting. So you can recast a mortgage. You can recast a mortgage, and it's basically you get the financing for the first mortgage, and then when you sell your property, you can take all of that equity and apply. It's kind of like the concept of a refi, because then you can apply those to the new loan and then reduce the new loan. So you're getting a loan at a higher amount, and you recast everything into that loan to lower the amount on the loan. And does it reallocate the payment as well? Oh, yeah. Yeah. 100%. Like it reduces everything. It's basically like a mini refi on that. Except you don't have to within a 60-day period of time. So how long is the window to do that? And how long? 60 days. You have to do it after 60 days or within 60 days? Within 60 days. Okay. And it might actually be 90. Okay. I'd have to look at that, but yeah, okay. It's 2 to 3 months time period that you can then have both and still know that you're good, but you do have to qualify for both loans. Right. To be able to do that. But then it's just, you're doing a quick refi into that lower loan. And sometimes you can get a better rate too. But it opens your options up tremendously to do that. So we have several sell-bys coming up, and there's probably gonna be a couple that we're gonna be able to do that with. So that'll be amazing. And then you can get your listings in that 100 listings in 100 days. So I don't know where we're at on that, but I gotta go put mine up there.
We were about, actually, was it 10 or 12? Yesterday we were like maybe 12 days ahead.
Okay.
Or
Is that including to getting the espresso maker, or is that just?
So if we had to list.
Asking important questions.
We all want to know that.
What's the espresso maker goal? 120?
20,
25?
25.
Yeah,
We're
we're
on track for espresso.
Well,
not on
we're-
track for espresso,
Yeah.
but we're on track for 100.
If for 12 ahead though, if you stay 12 ahead.
We stay 12 ahead.
It'll be close to.
Yeah. But 12 ahead puts us at 112.
Okay.
And
So
13 shy.
And what?
115 is
Getting
beautiful and
Littleton.
all.
Okay, so we are, and Mark and I, we are committed to adding to that goal. So we're working on it. And they may not
Yeah,
come
anybody
live till
else?
next spring, but they're gonna be signed.
You heard that.
You heard it here.
Any other new listings? Because I've got one.
Of course you do.
Land lot. Andrew and I have got a land lot, 6.02 acres. So it's very specific, 0.02. 6.02 acres. It's like you go to Kiowa and then you take gravel roads, dirt roads for about another 20 minutes, kind of north and east. Got a septic on it, got the well permit. He's got a fifth wheel. He said he'd sell with it. That's hooked up to the septic. He's got solar panels hooked up to the fifth wheel. He's got the big electric and meter is already on the property. He's got the tractor because he thought, I'm just going to excavate some of this myself, and where he's going to put the house. So he's pushed some dirt aside, but you can always scoop it back to build somewhere else on the lot if you want. Anyway, so it's basically pretty darn ready to go. So if you got anybody looking for land,
What's
1:30.
When does that?
It is.
It is live.
It is. I've been taking calls all morning.
Can we talk? By 10:30, one guy wants to do a land.
That will need improved on. Unless you just want to live in the fifth bill forever. So he's selling all of this. So we've got it listed as the price is the land and all the other stuff on it. The camper, the tractor, the storage units. I know, right? It's just because of the area where it's at. But the other stuff, just know we have to do a bill of sale for that. So actually you're buying the land and or buying the other stuff.
I'm sorry, Willie, where is that?
Deer.
Yeah, that is,
Oh,
That's
you're
helpful.
true.
It's Deer Trail.
Southeast,
okay,
so it's like 25 minutes east on I-70.
gotcha, okay.
Yeah, so if you were Crow, we could get there in 30 minutes. Your car takes about an hour and 20.
Okay, that
It
puts
looks
things.
like, it looks like Kansas.
On
You see
I-70.
No, I
Kansas?
drove it
Oh,
together.
really?
Okay.
You can
Perfect.
see Kansas from your back.
It's actually,
Yeah. You
Okay.
should reach out to John Coyle. He does a huge amount of business and it's all out of Deer Trail, so he probably would have great, like people looking for stuff like that.
well,
too.
let's just say we went live yesterday. We've already got a dozen showings scheduled. I've been taking calls all morning. So,
If you need another avenue.
Must be that
The
RV.
average is about 120 a year.
well,
for most all other stuff.
it's actually one of the pictures has about 8 baby deer laying down in the driveway. Look at all that. There you go. There you go. You know what photos to put first, right?
Right.
So the first, I'm going to totally digress, but I can't. The first photo is just like this big old rainbow over one of the hills out there, and then the second photo is like all the deer, and then we look more at the land and the other stuff. But
That's not.
that's a picture. That's afterthought. Okay, so mortgage. We'll do our mortgage minute.
Sure.
Ms.
We have
Robin?
lots to do, yes, fine.
I don't know. Anybody have fire needs? We haven't done that recently. Stay focused on this. But you got fire needs? Okay. You need fires? Is that what it is?
I have a couple of IRBs.
Go for it, Carol.
So what exactly is that area that we were, University Hills?
It's a little bit of University Hills, but it's more of it is east, like Tamarack and Tech Center.
So I need a 3+ bedroom, 2+ bathroom ranch. He probably would go up to like 525, but under that. Then I also need a condo in Littleton, 2 bedroom, 1+ bathrooms under 400. But I need it more on either the ground level or second level. It can't be higher.
Littleton or where
Littleton, Lakewood,
is Wadsworth or Kipling 470 out of the picture?
no,
There we go.
I want to talk to you about that one, terrifiers. I'm looking for them over there.
Maybe gotta get a few more pieces together. Right?
I have one more too.
Yes.
Sorry. Between 800 and 900,000, Castle Rock, Elizabeth. They don't want to be in the mountains at all. They're more concerned with RV storage, with car storage. He's got like 4 to 5 like hot rod cars, and so they're willing to take a smaller house. They would like 2+ acres.
Do they need all the garage units and stuff on it?
They would prefer to start out with at least something, yes. They would like to build on if they can, but their RV is like huge to them.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, Holly's gonna share some
We're
of
gonna
the.
do mortgage.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do a mortgage minute.
I like how you please. I distracted. Let's see here, rates are always at the top. After a really good rally the last couple days, they jumped back up again. So still, low threes, high twos for really qualified independent on a loan. But still, I mean, honestly, it's so funny. I look at rates all the time. I'm like, they're really amazing rates still. So, it's hard. They move so slightly and that's what I'm looking at. But yeah, they're just, I mean, anything under 3.25 is still gonna be a good rate, right? So anyway, it's just how you present it, I guess. I was chatting with a client of mine not long ago, or yesterday actually, and he's like, well, I'm just gonna wait for all those loans that are in forbearance to hit the market as foreclosures. And it dawned on me that, people have, like initially when forbearance came out, that was a big thing and a big question mark out there is people are like, oh, all those forbearance things, they're gonna hit foreclosures in about a year's time and lose their houses. Not so. The equity in the homes has gone up enough to where those missed payments, even if they are delinquent in their loan, the equity in the home is covering it. So it's kind of been a safety net for those people, which is a good thing, right, for them. I mean, as much as we need the inventory and would love to get some cheaper things out there, it's just not likely going to happen because of the forbearance thing. So. And fewer and fewer people are in forbearance now too. Those numbers are dropping as well. Good. So just kind of caution your customers that, look at the media and listen to it, word for word saying, oh, forbearance is going to cause foreclosures and we're going to cash in on our house. Then it's going to be normal foreclosure type situations.
Which means next to
Exactly. It's like 2%.
Yeah. So, and I've been watching that for a while too, because there for a while, a lot of us were going to classes, how do you work foreclosures and things like that, just to kind of get ready for it. But there's been so many changes which are giving those homeowners opportunities to take those forbearance payments, go stick them on the back end, or like she said, kind of covered with equity and things like that. So so just kind of know what's going on, know what's going out there, know how to have those conversations. And so what does that mean for this market? As far as when does it stop? When does it flip? When does it go the other way? Still don't know. Lawrence Yun is an economist, does a lot of stuff for National Association of Realtors, coast to coast. And even his latest report says we're probably going to keep seeing appreciation roller coaster between 4% and 14% nationwide month over month for another year, if not a year and a half. So again, some areas are going to be hotter than others, but even he's projecting that either late 22, 2023. So I will say, I've got some topics to talk today about buyers and buyer success, but before we do that, I want to give Holly a chance to talk about the education committee, some of the things in classes they're planning to bring on into our office as well.
All right. Okay, so I am the head of the Education Committee on the Agent Leadership Council, and we are working, Debbie does a fabulous job in William now, jumping in on with new agents and that beginning learning curve. And I think we're going to have some like quarterly classes that Brooks, the law office, going to help set up for just once you finish that launch to get, to kind of get some real world classes there going. Although William is adding into what Debbie's doing. So I know you guys are coming out, all the launch coaching people are coming out with a really good solid foundation, which is great. So what I would like to do is with the education is we're hitting the next tier tiers up. And you should be a learning-based agent, you're a realtor your entire career. You're never going to know everything. Life changes, the world changes, the rules change. I think Debbie learns stuff. She's been doing this for a long time and she's still learning. So she still goes to classes. She still goes and finds opportunities to learn something new that she shares with us. And that's been a real benefit to our office. So we want to provide value all the way up to everyone in our office, not just new agents. Education is extremely important. So we're going to be offering classes on Tuesdays, and our goal is to be having a class every Tuesday from 12:05 to 1:35. It'll probably start more like in August or September. We haven't kind of gotten a whole lot scheduled yet. And we're going to do this as a lunch and learn. Everybody's got to eat lunch. Now, the one thing that we know is we can't depend on our vendors to provide lunch for us every other day. And they, they want to help us out and be a part, be partners with us. But, they also have a budget too. And so what we're going to suggest is everybody bring your lunch. Just grab order delivery. People deliver here. There's Grubhub, Uber Eats, whatever. Or pick something up or bring your own lunch and come and sit and learn something. And then we're going to see if we can get our vendor partners to bring dessert. So maybe some great cookies or, something like that. So you'll have something from a vendor partner. But these classes are not meant to be, this isn't where people are going to come in and go, use me, use me, use me. These are opportunities to learn something. And we will have vendors that will present, and we do encourage you to sit down and spend some time with them and find out if they would be a good fit for you as a vendor. But we're not going to be selling you things. This is about learning opportunities. And one of them that I know tomorrow, Victoria is meeting with a couple people from WFG Title, and they have a gal that's phenomenal that teaches a lot of things about social media and tech. And who in here has a Google My Business page? Does anybody have one? Do you have it set up? Are you using it? Do you know how to use it?
That was Lisa.
Huh?
Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Lisa Swazo? That's
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Lisa Suazo, okay, so Lisa Suazo is going to be teaching a series of classes on Google My Business. So we're going to have there will be 3 classes on it. And then there's some other things, and it'll be over time. So to get you guys up and running on that. One of the things to keep in mind is being learning based. You don't want to attend every learning opportunity there is in this office, or you would never be selling anything. So you need to pay attention to your 411. Does this fit you? Is it going to bring you value? If it is going to bring you value and help your business, then you want to have a butt in the chair. If it's not, if it doesn't fit into what you're doing, you need to focus on your business. So we're going to provide plenty of opportunities, and there will be chances for you to participate. And just remember, the main purpose of being in real estate is to sell real estate. It's not to be in a class. So participate in as many classes as fit what you're doing, and otherwise go do your business. Okay. And then, because we'll be bringing classes around repeatedly for opportunities for that. I'm also very open to what do you need. So yes, Leslie.
Hi, Holly.
Hi, Leslie.
I would love to offer my abilities in mindfulness, yoga, and meditation. Any of those areas where and other deeper spiritual nature items that anybody might be wanting to look into.
Oh, that would be I would love to do that. Let's get hooked up with Victoria and let's get something.
I
like
promise
that
not to be too woo-woo for you.
Come on. So one of the things we just had Matt English, who's in our office. He is a realtor and in the apprentice program to be an appraiser. And he taught a 2-session class on appraisals that was very beneficial to a lot of people who attended it. We're going to be working with a contact of Debbie's that teaches a continuing education class. And you'll probably have to kick in some dollars for that. Yeah, it's $40.
Is that,
what's his
Steve Olson? Yeah, he teaches, what's it worth?
He's good at
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
bring it
Metric too.
here, and you have to have a minimum of 20 agents. And it's $40, and you get
I don't remember how many C credits, 3 or 4.
I think it was 3.
Yeah. So, and it's well worth your time. What Matt taught was phenomenal. I gained a lot of information from that. It was really helpful, especially in this pricey market. And what we'll get from there will be a different level, because this is gentlemen, and you get continuing education credits, so, which some of us, need to remember to do that on a regular basis. So that's an opportunity. The other thing that we are going to be having, Sean Reddy in our office is going to be teaching a business planning clinic, and we'll be getting that out. I think it'll be in September. We don't have a date for that. I think Sean's going to be contacting Victoria's I'm keeping Victoria busy, getting our calendar ready. And everybody should be doing that. You need to know what you're planning to do next year. You've got to, if you don't know what you intend to do and you don't plan for it, you're not going to get there. It's just going to be this big blank. Oh, I think I'll do whatever. This will give you a plan, how to do it, how to get there, what you need to do to get there. Plus, you need to plan your financials. You need to plan how you're going to pay for the things that you've got going. And it's a good time to review, well, how am I spending my money and what is the return on investment? And Mark and I literally this week, because got his knee up with ice on it. And only so many things we can do. So we kind of did a little business planning meeting, and we went back through our sales for the last about year and a half and said, where are they coming from? Is it worth it to have that chamber membership? Is it worth it? Where did our deals come from? Are our dollars being spent wisely, or do we need to change what we're doing? So
That's right.
yeah, because otherwise, I mean, you can be outputting a lot of money for things that are not helping you, and you might find that there's things that maybe would help you more. That it might be worth switching where those dollars are spent. Or as your business is growing, maybe there's things that you might want to add in that could provide value that you didn't do as a beginning agent, but now you're an intermediate agent or whatever. So like the boomerang or something like that.
Some of the best, why you should do business planning for the next year in the third quarter is you also then have the fourth quarter of this year, start practicing it, making those little tweaks to get going. But I always do that too. I always sit down, red light, green light, everything. Red light, green light means that if it's something that I'm not getting a good return on and I'm spending it, red light, stop, it's done. If it's green light, it's providing some stuff back that's good, it's worth it, then green light keeps going. But I do all that in the third quarter, and it's great for us to do your business planning in that third quarter for the next year, because, well, we've got 3 big holidays in the fourth quarter. October, November, December, there's holidays, you get busy, things like that happen. But it's also just good to have that in place so you can practice some of that stuff going forward to the fourth quarter, get you ready for the next year. Nick?
Hey, for you and Polly, how long do you guys test something before you like red light or green light is continued? You just do that year.
It's different.
It depends on what it is. Because something like a chamber membership, it might take a year or 2 years for you to get benefit out of it, because you have to, it's all about relationships.
Yeah.
It's developing relationships, farming. That's another thing.
Yeah,
That's
so
fun.
it's the purpose of, what's the purpose, what's the result you want from the spin? And then depending on that type of spin, it's some of it's time on task. It doesn't help if you send postcards to a neighborhood 1 month and then you never do it again.
Yeah.
Something like postcards are going to take 12 consistent touches, to get some activity going. So it just depends on what it is that you're doing and what kind of return you're looking to get on it. So
I think if you can't do, especially something like what William is talking about, if you can't do something from a monetary or time or accountability perspective, 90 days to 6 months, it's not worth doing it because it's not going to be a return. No different than our friends. If we got into the business and only reminded them one time, it's not an insult to you, but they're not going to remember. They're not going to be top of mind. So, and there's a lot of things too. Chris and I were just talking about this too. Say you had $200 to spend. Don't put
$200 in farming. If you've got a steer here, do 20 coffee dates, for $10 and go start those conversations that way instead. And then, it's just being very wise with it.
Don't
but that
spend money until
dominance.
you have it, and then know what really evaluate what you want to spend.
See, even that, a class on techniques for how to market that are, reasonable and within certain price ranges. I mean, there's certain things we can do certain dollars that work well and certain dollars that just take time. And again, time on task. I plan to be in this business for a while so get on it. Time to start,
The gift of gab is free.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're an introvert, how to get find other ways to spend that money by giving your sphere up. Like we've done a couple giveaways where our sphere called in, they nominated people, and then we gave away things. Because I'm an introvert. People drain me. If I have to go to 20 coffees, I'm like,
You don't have to be in coffee, you can just send a gift card.
but those kind of things, if you're building relationships or you want to put something somewhere to get a return, again, who's going to see it? Who's the most people going to see it, get value from it? So great questions like that. Anything else with education stuff, Ms. Holly?
I believe that's kind of where we're at for right now. Just heads up, this is a work in progress, and we had a pretty good system going for a while, and then a pandemic hit, and everything kind of went differently, and so this is kind of gave us an opportunity to restart and reevaluate and say, what can we do, where can we do it, how can we do it, and bring you guys value. So this will be a work in progress, and we will be duplicating classes from time to time, because not everybody can make every class at the right time, and we will try and do some of them as Zoom as well. And it's really good to be in person in class where you can share ideas and talk, and it's different than a Zoom. And I know you've got that chat feature, but it's not the same as being in a room and having that dialogue. So I really encourage people to show up and participate live and get the added benefit of being there and being in person.
And if they have been to a class or have class ideas, what's the best way for them to share that?
You can email me at hmais@kw.com. That's hmays@kw.com. Or you can call or text me 303-903-6755. I posted in the Facebook group. Asking and also, but yeah, I'm always open to suggestions and ideas. So,
and if anyone else has a tendency or maybe interest in education, do you still have room on your committee?
I absolutely have room on my committee. We're a pretty fun committee too. So, and we meet the first Friday.
We used to have health and wellness person on the ALC. It's me. Okay. Never mind, Holly. I like to.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
All right, so we're. From Holly. All right.
You missed that when we talked about it at the beginning of the meeting.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
What
everybody.
happens to show up late?
Yeah, that's what we're supposed to.
Great.
All right,
When
so
you're so
anyway, team meetings can be fun. Anyway. All right.
So, got some ideas for discussion around buyers. Is that what I said earlier, right? Buyers. I just said buyers.
Yeah.
There's some things I want to talk about the market, current market, and then buyers and how to get buyers under contract right now. So, with that in mind, how many of you have been, I know that we got a lot of new licenses in here. Don't feel left out, okay, about these questions, but take them to learn. But how many people have been actively showing buyers the last couple months? Carol, Jody.
I have two in pre-qual stage. I'm
Pre-qual.
ready to jump in.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Nick.
Maybe you can wrap this into that. I've got 3 that are excited, but I don't have the tools when they're like, oh, we think the market's gonna crash, we'll do it next year, and I don't have millions over. I'm not equipped to combat those misperceptions. Maybe.
Great. So that was a part of it because the misconception, and Robin kind of addressed the misconception is the market's going to crash and houses are going to go into foreclosure and everyone's value is going to drop and we go get cheap houses again. So there's only a couple things that affect the market as a whole that forces prices down. One is a global pandemic, which somehow that could be opposite of. And the other ones are natural disasters. So the most recent big natural disaster in the United States was the hurricane in Houston a few years ago. And real estate market in that area just came to a halt, just stopped. Houses under contract didn't close because they got flooded. So many houses were flooded, people were just dumping them to get out of the area and then someone else came in and cleaned up. It took less than 12 months for that market to start going up again. So that natural disaster slowed everything down for a while and prices kind of went upside down, but it corrected itself. Once the water was gone, once things started getting cleaned up, it just kind of corrected itself. So even when things like that happen, we just have this need for homes that just aren't getting met. In 2008, 2009, and everything I'm saying are conversations I've had with buyers as well, from things that I've heard and listened to, Gary Keller's reports, different reports from the KW guys at the big conventions, which Mega Camp's coming up. We're going to try to share what we can here, but I would suggest you guys get a chance to attend Mega Camp. It's all virtual as well this year too. But 2000, 2008, 2009, when everything kind of went we did have a bubble that popped. But what made that bubble? Very, very loose, shoot from the hip lending laws that basically said if you have a pulse, let's give you a line of credit to buy a house.
And you can pull your equity and buy a boat, and you can.
Go ahead, Jody.
Just to piggyback on that, I just learned this, I've been in business a long time and I just learned this a few months ago. In our history, there's only been 2 recessions that are actually caused by real estate. One of which is what William is referencing, and it was the subprime market.
Right.
That doesn't exist anymore. Lenders are licensed and appraisers have degrees, which then wiped out like 75% of them, and they don't talk to each other anymore. And so another thing that I love with that conversation is encouraging our buyers, if you can afford the monthly payment, that's all you need to worry about. If you buy into a house and it fluctuates a little bit, it's okay, just write out the fluctuation. But if you can afford it monthly, you're not in jeopardy of anything. So if it's adjusting, whereas rent can change, and it will change. If our market is affected, rent will go up because they know that's then the hot commodity because people are losing their houses. And so getting them to focus, the recessions are not always around real estate, and that recessions or shifts or economic hardships have happened, but it's not always real estate driven, or real estate is not always as affected by it. And if you can afford your monthly, and then you're not renting, why would you not? So,
Right. And the only time you get in trouble with your real estate in that sense is when something happens in life that forces you to sell when you don't want to.
Right.
When that could be a job loss, that could be something other, death, other things and stuff.
which that can
gonna
have
say
a
to
bunch of
me,
rental.
Yeah, but exactly, if you can, everyone always needs a place to live. So the other part of this question, they keep coming at me with, but why are there so many people buying homes? There's different factors to that. But again, if you go back to 2000, 2008, 2009, from coast to coast, they were building 1.2 million new homes a year. When 2008-9 happened, like the end of 2009, new home builds went down to half that. And and then they've slowly added, but they've never caught back up. So if you think about our nation being behind for 10 years straight on how many homes are demanded in just the new build market alone, that is forcing a lot of this buyer demand right now because of immigration patterns, just because of job patterns, and just because of overall supply and demand. Builders are always going to be behind. Even now, they're not building to demand as they were. Now, am I going to say houses are going to go up forever? No one knows that. But is this appreciation wave going to go on forever? Maybe not at these rates where the Denver metro area as a whole averaged 14% June 1st to July 1st. It's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, your house made money. Your house made 3 times your mortgage payment in 1 month. Isn't that nuts? But there is enough statistics out there that show us that this is not necessarily just a fluke that's going to go away. It may eventually level out depending on what mortgage rates do. But boy, renters are taking advantage of it, and the higher they force rent, the more people went out of those rentals.
Right. And
And-
that's a huge thing. And investors are making money.
I was
because
gonna
they're
say,
raising
guys,
their rent.
that's where I'm doing and hoping to do more is this piece of that.
So she can be one of those tyrant landlords that overcharge.
Exactly.
them.
Yes. Well, it doesn't look like a tyrant.
She is. Oh my God.
Well, and the other thing is, when you're talking about Colorado, this is a desirable place to live. People want to come here. People want to be here. So there's parts of the country that people want to get out of. It's not, people live there, stay there, have their whole lives there. But this is a destination
But
place for people to
But
live.
that's a part of the things you guys, if someone ask those questions, just having some of that knowledge and knowing those things help having some conversations. Now, buyers right now, if you've got active buyers or buyers that really want a home, I'll tell you what I have seen over this last month. And I feel like I've gotten a first row seat to see what the market's doing because of, I'll just go back. What Special Forces focused me to do in January, February, and March has made my business what it is for the rest of the year because the accountability it put in my life at that point. And because now I'm on top of 4 to 7 houses a month, either buy side or sell side. And this is what I've seen is in certain areas, you've got desirability from move-up buyers and from the first-time buyers. We're kind of in a season where the first-time buyers, they're still out there. They're still looking for those homes. But the move-up buyers are following the more seasonal patterns that say school's getting ready to start. So we're not going to be as active. We've already we're in our home, but we don't want to disrupt kids and families during the school season. What does that mean for you and your buyers? Is that if you're in this first-time buying market, my buyers that have been up to 550, 600 in some areas, they're still finding some bid wars going on. A couple of my move-up buyers that were doing 600 and plus, we've gone under contract with no competition and at list price over the last few weeks. And again, it's because we're just in that little season wave. So depending on where your buyer's coming from, or even where your seller's coming from, if it's a move-up seller who has said for the last 6 months, well, I don't want to do this bid war up in the 600s and 700s. Now's the opportunity for them to sell and play in the bid war on that side and have a better chance to get in those other homes. Like if you go look now in Castle Rock, I was looking this morning for a client in Castle Rock around 600. I found a dozen homes that have been on the market 12 days or more that are gorgeous homes. They're just not getting the activity in that area. Now, you go to Denver, University Hills, 600,000. That's a little bit different, right? It's also where those price points are in those neighborhoods.
And so one of the things that I would encourage you working with a buyer is, do they want to live? Sometimes you have a buyer that doesn't have money, the credit is, and they want and they want what they want, but they really can't get what they want, especially where they want it. So sometimes it's just talking to them about, let's find a place that you can start. it's, okay, this area, you're gonna be hard pressed to find something. And self-discovery is a good thing. I'm a high D, I want to tell people, you're not gonna find that there, but don't put it that way, but self-discovery is awesome. Set up a search form in that area, in that price range, and send it out and let them see what's there.
Nothing's there.
They'll quickly figure out, oh, that doesn't work without you having to tell them. One of the things that I learned from Debbie that for all of these years, self-discovery is amazing. So that you don't have to, you're not the bad guy. You don't want to be the bad guy to your clients. You want to be the good guy. So allowing them to figure out the realities sometimes is the best thing instead of you telling them the realities. So so that gives, there's lots of opportunity for that. And I'm sure Debbie will talk, teaches you that a lot, but that's a great way is to give them the opportunity to learn that for themselves, is give self-discovery.
And then
Debbie, I know you run it, but
Yeah, the only other thing too is like Lisa is online. I see her, she's a great example. So she and her husband were out looking for a property to buy and missed out and went in as backup. But it didn't take very long and now they're in first place.
that was the other thing I was gonna mention. I put 2 FHA buyers under contract because we went in as backup offers.
Yep.
As
And
well
now there's
earlier
a
this
lot.
year.
Yep.
So don't be afraid to give your buyers opportunities and say, hey, we got pretty darn close. Let's just throw us out there as a backup and we'll still look. But if something happens, because a lot of these times so this goes back to the listing side. A lot of these times what you'll find is someone will hear about this market, they're go gung ho, it's their first house, they're gonna offer on it, they're gonna win it, and then like the next morning, holy crap, really just tell them I'd give them $50,000, the home doesn't appraise. What did I get myself into? And those guys back out. Which from the listing end, my favorite buyers are the ones who've lost out 4 or 5 times. They might not necessarily be the highest offer, but they ain't going nowhere because they're tired of writing offers every weekend. So anyway, and then the other thing I'm seeing in strategies to work for your buyers, and make sure you talk to their lender about this too, is some lenders are offering appraisal gap coverage in their loan amount. So if you've got a loan, it's a buyer that qualifies for 500, but you're going to go buy a house you're going to offer 475, and they want appraisal gap coverage. Talk to your lender, because some of them have programs that they'll wrap that what you qualify for into that gap coverage for you. Not all lenders do that. So figure out what your lenders will do. Another strategy that we've been doing for a couple of our buyers is this. They're ready. They've got 20% down payment, but they don't have cash for appraisal gaps. So we're like, well, let's just split the difference, or even more so on your down payment and that appraisal gap. You got 20% down payment. Let's just borrow you 50 from it to write our appraisal gap coverage. And then if you use it or don't need it, we put it back into your down payment. So there's strategies you can do with those people who are, well, but I got to have 20,000 down. Well, 3.5, Mitchell's 3.5. So use the rest of that money for appraisal gaps. And the other thing is I'm seeing these offers, when you're winning these offers in that $50,000 to $60,000 price point range, those homes are still appraising, gaps aren't being used.
Or it's minimal comparatively. And that's one of the things that we, in the appraisal class that Matt taught, he talked about that. And people are pricing houses. Some realtors, they're looking for that bidding war to get that high price. I mean, we all talk about pricing strategies. You don't want to price too high where your property sits. You want to price appropriately. But a lot of people are pricing their houses low to get that, to really get a bidding war, instead of probably pricing it appropriately where, you might get several offers, but you don't end up with 20. And so sometimes it's where it's priced to where it's going to appraise it's priced where it should appraise, not that far off of what it ends up being the selling price. Carol.
Okay, so can you, if you have a buyer that does have the cash to be able to pay for the whole entire thing, but they're not sure if they want to or not, can you write the contract for cash and then refinance it right after to get them a loan?
They pay cash for the property and close. Sure, they could always go back and
And then,
refinance it.
then
Also
finance
cash
it, yeah.
out.
No, I don't think that's what she meant.
Yeah.
You may go under contract as cash and switch to a loan?
No,
Okay.
yeah, no,
Close as
yeah,
cash.
yeah, come to the table with cash,
Sure.
but then refinance it and get part of your cash back.
Absolutely. You
Oh,
can,
yeah,
they can
that's-
even do it, they can even do a HELOC loan versus doing a full mortgage. If they just want to pull some money out and not full money out, they could do HELOC.
Because that's what we lost out on the last one because it was a cash deal. But I started thinking, maybe if we just do that, if he's willing to go ahead and just put the cash in and then just refinance after.
Absolutely. There's ways to do that with 401ks and do a loan that you pay back. There's all kinds of ways.
It's great to have not just a good lender, but good lender options.
Correct.
So find that lender they're just, for example, that, they're everything under one umbrella. But then have someone like Robin, who is a broker and has access to all these different ideas and programs. Just always ask the questions, hey, let's brainstorm. How can we make this work financially for the buyer? Stuff like that. Any other questions about prior to the stuff?
I haven't seen any questions from the
No, peanut gallery.
peanut gallery.
I said I was gonna send you guys out for early. It's 2 minutes still, so
Still early,
it's on you.
Okay.
Okay,
it's not over.
okay, well, good job. Thank you guys for coming today.
Thank you for
Thank
filling
you.
in, guys. You bomb.
Can I show you this real fast?
Yes.
So you can go back into the kitchen area, and there's signs,
Guys,
on the wall that you guys can buy for your office or for yourself or for closing gifts. Well, this, a friend of mine wrote this book and his friend illustrated it. And it's probably for like that preschool age kids, but he dropped off some of these. It's a local artist. They're $10 a piece, so we're gonna put them back in there. So if you wanted to pick something up, this is why you should hold hands when you go shopping to get the ingredients to buy to make chocolate chip cookies, and why is it safer to hold hands?
Oh,
Right? So cute. And so if you guys know other local artists that have something that would be appropriate to sell in
Honey.
that here, I think you should encourage them to bring it in. And we'll put them back there. They need to have a Venmo or a PayPal account so they can get paid directly for it. But he just dropped these off and I thought they were so awesome. I want you guys to know that they're gonna go back there.
With that, Debbie, means the Venmo PayPal stuff can, like for Stuart, or maybe he's done it, I just haven't seen it yet, but can we just have somehow, here's Stuart,
It
here's
is
Morning
back there.
Crib, yeah, then just
Got
do
it
these
back
for
there.
the others.
Yeah.
Can I bring in my break?
Yes. Absolutely, yeah, if there's something you do.
We're done.
Actually, I think.
All right, I'll be bringing in some quilts, guys.
Okay, cool,
Sure you can-
very cool.
I know.
I made-
Lastly.
So I smoke ribs.
Yes, yes, bring ribs.
I don't think those will.